Hey guys, Super Retro Kid here. So I thought I'd make another video. This video is about how to make a factory regular Nintendo controller that is brand new with an 11-foot cord. So I'll preface this by explaining to you guys what you need to purchase in order to do this. So the first thing to purchase is one of these NES Classic Edition controllers, and these can be found on eBay for about $20. And what's cool about this is the shell and the buttons and everything are original Nintendo, perfectly brand new, everything. And what you can actually do with these is you can buy a original NES controller, and the PCB from it will fit in one of these. It's just a drop-in replacement, perfect. So that's what this is. So what I've done with this controller is I took the NES Classic Edition Controller, which was brand new, and I bought on eBay for like $5 or $10. I bought a real junky, regular Nintendo controller that was all destroyed on the outside. So I just opened it up, took the PCB and the cable and stuck it inside of this Classic Edition controller. Now the downside, the only thing, so at this point, it's like you have a brand new NES controller that's first party, but the thing that kind of bugs me about these is the cords are only about 5 feet long. So the next thing to do was on Amazon, and I've done this with SNES controllers before. For whatever reason, 11 feet seems to be the number that these third-party manufacturers like to go with. So on eBay I found SNES third-party controllers that had 11-foot cords, and now on Amazon I was able to find these third-party controllers that have 11-foot cords for the NES, and these were about $15 a controller. So all in all, you're spending $10 on the original controller, and then $20 on an NES Classic Edition controller, and then you spend another $15. So that's about $45. You can have a brand new NES controller with an 11-foot cord. So what I did was, the first thing I did was I made this cheat sheet. So what I did on here was I took my multimeter and I put it on the continuity setting, and I opened up these controllers and started doing the pinouts. So I'd figure out, like on the connector here, I'd figure out what color on an original NES PCB is the top one, the second from top, third from top. And I do that with my multimeter, and I can kind of show you guys that real quick. So what you want to do is you want to take your multimeter and you want to put it in the setting that kind of looks like a diamond with a line through it. That's your continuity test setting. And what that does is, when these two leads conduct electricity, it beeps. So that tells you that if you're touching one line of a conductor and another line, it lets you know that those traces are connecting. So like right here, what I have is, this is the 11-foot cord from the third-party controller that I already opened up, and like this red lead I've already figured out is the top, it's the left top point on here. So when I do that, it beeps. So I've gone through the 11-foot cable and I have mapped out all of the colors. So now I know which one of these positions each of these colored cables goes to. And I've done the same thing to this one, which is the original PCB. So my next step is I'm gonna open up the original PCB. So at this point I'm done with my multimeter because I've already figured out the pinouts. So now I'm gonna open up my Classic Edition controller that has the original NES PCB in it. And I should say the whole point of this is I have a retro USB AVS and it's hooked up to a 65-inch TV. So with an 11-foot cord, I'll be able to play back on my couch without introducing any lag. Because something, you know, a wireless controller like the 8-bit Doos or whatever, they don't introduce very much lag, but they do introduce some lag. And when you get this far into the weeds as far as playing on original hardware, you want to not have lag whenever you can avoid it. The other reason that I kind of don't like using wireless controllers is just I don't like having to worry about the batteries. Okay, so this is Classic Edition controller with the original PCB. So I'm just going to take that out and set these over here. So then what I'm going to do with this is I think I'm going to try to desolder these. So I'm going to take this, put it on my helping hands, and I think this should be pretty easy to desolder, and I've already figured out the pinouts. Let's see, and they are marked on the other side. So this is, yeah, actually, this is kind of neat. I don't know if you can see it, but on this side of the board, it actually says what color was there. So I don't even have to worry about remembering that that was yellow, that was brown. So I'm gonna flip this over, see if I can get this in your guys' view. And I've got my Hakko 88 soldering iron. And I've got it at 550 degrees Celsius. Celsius or Fahrenheit, I honestly don't know, but 550 is a good setting. And then I'm actually going to add solder to desolder these. And you should do this in a well ventilated area. Like right now I've got my ceiling fan going. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of pull on this cable a little bit as I heat it up, and see it just came right out. See if I can do the next one. Yep, there goes that one. Yeah, I'm not even having to apply solder. There's already enough there. Okay, so I've got the original cord removed. Now, in order to get my new, I want to run my new one actually through. It's not a huge deal whether or not you run it through or just solder to those points, but I'm gonna try just removing the solder first. So I've got my solder sucker. And that was perfect. I've got a nice hole there to put my cable through. Yeah, and a big, oh, I didn't get it all that time. Yeah, and this stuff is a heck of a lot easier when you have your iron at the right temp and everything. I don't remember where I saw someone using this station at 550 degrees, but that has been like a drastic change. Like, it's been a lot easier doing these projects ever since. I'm having a hard time getting this one. Let me just try to, there we go. So we've got 3 of the 5. Four of the 5. And 5 of the 5. So now what I'm gonna do is now I've got 5 holes through here. And on this side, they're actually labeled. I don't know if you guys can see that or not, what color the wires were. So I'm going to take my 11-foot cable and I'm going to try to fish each one through its corresponding spot, looking at my cheat sheet here with that I made with my continuity tester. So this tells me brown to brown. I could tin these cables, but I don't know if that'll make them too wide to go through the holes. Okay, so right here, I'm gonna try to just get them a little wet. This might prove to be the hardest part. Wonder if I could feed. Yeah, I can. I'm gonna try just feeding the whole cable through so that I get all of the conductive stuff through. And then I'm gonna back it out, bend it. Yeah, I backed it out and bent it. Now I'm just gonna put a little dollop of solder on there, hold this cable in place. And perfect. So that's one. Now I've got some extra stuff. So I'm going to cut these. And I should say that this is a pretty basic project, so I wouldn't be too worried if you're not very good at soldering or anything. But you don't want to mess it up because there is 5 volts going through this, which could potentially mess up your controller port. So when I'm all done with this, I'm going to take my continuity tester and check again. Also to make sure that none of my solder points are bridged. Okay, so I've got brown down. Now let's see, where does orange go? Orange goes to yellow. White, orange. Oh. See, and I'm actually gonna have to open up another controller. Be right back. I didn't notice this right away, but this PCB, it has white, orange, orange, red, yellow, brown, brown, yellow, red. So I'm not sure exactly what the pinout is anymore, as far as like what was originally in each of these holes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up another original NES controller, and this is one where I just spliced an extension cable onto it and wrapped it in some heat shrink tubing, but I don't really like this solution. I did this before I found out about these aftermarket cables or before I found out about these aftermarket controllers with 11-foot cables. So I'm going to open this controller up, and I'm going to use it as a reference for my wiring here. Yeah, it's kind of a labor of love, but at the end of the day, the end product is pretty awesome. Having a nice factory controller with a long cable. Okay. So I'm just going to use this for reference. Let's see, I still got one holding on. Come on. Okay, so now I can see the brown I did is brown. So this bottom one is yellow. So this bottom one is yellow because I was getting confused whether it was yellow or red. So since this bottom one is yellow, that means I'm putting the extension cable's orange into it. So I'm going to run orange into here. Yeah, and this is the tough part. Ooh, ooh. Okay. And then once it's in there, I'm just gonna bend it over, get a little dollop of solder, and I'm sure you guys can't see this, but and then I'm gonna clip off the excess, put that in the trash. So that's 2 of the 5 connections. Now the next one is going to be red on the original controller, and red equates to yellow on the aftermarket. So I'm going to take the yellow and connect it to the red. Ooh, this one's really like frayed at the end. Actually, I'm going to just clip off some of this frayed stuff, make it easier to fish through. So I'm gonna take this, and the more of these I get in, the harder it is to move this around. Oh, okay, I've got my yellow in. I'm gonna bend it. Is it? Oh, it came out. Gonna have to get this lower. Come on. See, this is getting tough to manage the cables. It's getting tough to manage the cables here. Let me feed this through a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna just solder that real quick while it's in place. Perfect. Now I'm going to snip it. Okay. Now orange equates to black. So I'm going to try to feed black through here. Then I'm going to solder this. Yeah, and I don't think there's really a good way for me to show you guys when I'm actually soldering it, because I don't have another hand. And I don't think the camera probably wouldn't focus right and stuff anyway. Okay, so I have a little excess on the board here. So I'm going to snip this so I don't short anything. Yeah, and I'm going to have a link in the description to this aftermarket controller with the 11-foot cord and the NES Classic Edition Controller. And I'm sure you guys can find original controllers. Okay, now I've got white equating to red. And the further I get on this, the less it wants to cooperate as far as getting these little strands through these holes. Oh. As soon as I say that, it's like the easiest one. Okay, I'm going to solder that. Perfect. Now I'm going to turn off soldering iron, because if I did everything right, I won't need it again. I just have a little bit of excess of the black. Of the black one on the top of the board. Like strands that I wasn't able to fish through. Just want to kind of shorten them up so that they for sure won't ever hit anything. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to test these and make sure they're correct. So, the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to go off the pinout of the original controller. So I might as well, so this top spot should be brown on the original controller, which is this one? No. Ugh. It's tough to hold this stuff. Okay. Brown. Can't tell if I'm... Okay. Oh, I gotta turn my multimeter on. Dude. Okay, that's brown. Then, let's see, yellow should be down here. Correct. And then red. Red should be here. Red should be this third one. No? White. Okay, I'm confused. Let me look at this once. Okay, white should be red, brown should be brown, brown should be brown, red should be yellow, orange should be black, yellow should be orange. Well, let's see here. I don't want to get too far in the weeds. So this white one should be red. Okay, correct. Orange should be black. Okay. Red should be yellow. So this should be the third one. Correct. I should also mention it's like 1 in the morning, so I'm a little tired. So I could be just doing something, I could have just been doing something dumb before. Brown's brown. Then this last one, yellow. Yellow equals orange. Okay. I'm going to check this white one again. White is red. Okay, they're correct. Now, one more thing I'm going to do. I'm going to make sure they're not bridging. Okay, I'm just going to touch the two adjacent from each other. Okay, and these two maybe should, I think that might be normal. Actually, you know, let's go on the original board and see if that's normal. So this is a board I have not messed with. I'm gonna see if that continuity is normal. Come on. Doesn't appear to be. But there's really no way I messed it up. This one doesn't do that. But I really don't think I messed it up. Yeah, I don't see any way I could have messed it up. So I'm just gonna roll with it. It's a little disconcerting though. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Everything looks good. Yeah. So now I'm going to take the original PCB that now has the 11-foot cable. I'm going to put it inside the NES Classic Edition Controller. Everything feels good. I'm going to go here and wrap the cable around the hook, the strain relief hook here. And this is going to be a little bit of a chore. There we go. Now let's see if we can get the back on. Make sure it's the original. Is it? Yeah, I think I got it. So now, start screwing them in. And I'm just going to do a crisscross pattern. So I did the top outmost one, and I'm going to do the bottom center, and I'm going to do the bottom top, okay, and then I'm going to do top bottom, top center. And the bottom. Okay. All the buttons feel good. Yep. So now, let's go hook it up and hope it works. Okay. I'm going to hook it up to ABS. Switch my inputs. Okay. Okay, left and right work. So that's a good sign. So let's go to start cart. Let's try Super Mario. Because that's a game that you can really feel. So far everything's working. Let's see, select up, select down, select left, select right. Yeah, all the buttons are working. So I don't know what the deal was with that continuity setting I tried. I don't know why that was different than the other controller. Yep. Yeah, but everything feels good. So now I've got a NES Classic Edition Controller with the original NES PCB in it, and it's got an 11-foot cord. So that's how you do it. It's all about the continuity tester on the DMM, on the multimeter. This is Super Retro Kate. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching.